Hello, my name is Kimberly Brewer, and this is my second grade interactive unit on classification. And the unit's name is Who Lives in There? My TEKS that I'm going to address are 2D and E, 9A, B and C, and 10A for both the math and the science. The first thing that we do is we're going on an outdoor exploration outside to a field to see what creatures may live there and hear the sounds and see the sights so that the kids can record outdoor observations as part of a laboratory experience. And that will help them with their hands-on learning so that they understand what we're going to be talking about, which will be habitats. There's 4 different habitats that are the basis of what we're going to address. There's desert, there's deciduous and coniferous forest, prairie, and rainforest. And each of them is equipped with magnetic stripping so that we can take animals off the magnetic strip down here. This is a bighorn sheep, and they can be found on high places in the desert. And so we just stick him there, and the kids can put all of the manipulatives in the proper place for their biomes, so where they live. And then we have some animals over here, and the kids can match them to their name. So this is obviously a moose. The outer ring spins, as does the inner ring, which is the footprints of the animal. So we explore what's left behind when you no longer see the animal, but you can still see the tracks. Then we come over here, and this is a Venn diagram, which is part of what we're teaching the kids in English class. And we're going to discuss plant and animal needs. And these are, again, equipped with magnets on them so that the kids can classify. For instance, plants need sunlight and soil, and both animals and plants need air and water. And then over here we can do, animals need food because they can't produce their own. And then we have questions down here. This one's question 1, so that they know which questions they've done and which ones they haven't. And this one says, Tommy saw 3 squirrels, 1 grasshopper, and 8 ants. How many more ants than squirrels did Tommy see? So that's obviously 5, but the kids will use this graphing method to determine the answer. So part of what we've been working on in math is taking out what information the students don't need and remembering what information they do. So in this case, 3 squirrels, and there's 8 ants. So these are 1 by 1 inch magnet squares, and they can use the graph and then count the difference between the two, how many squares. And the grasshopper can be there or not be there, either way. And then we move on to the interactive calendar board, which is here. Right now we're in the month of March. So the kids can take the weather types. For instance, the 3rd of March, let's say it's windy, so they can Velcro the weather to the correct day. And then we have more manipulatives that they can put on here so we can keep track. And at the end of the month, we can graph how many days were windy or cloudy or snowy or sunny. And we also have this thermometer up here. So we're teaching the kids to read thermometer in Fahrenheit. And we're also teaching them in math the difference between the tens and the ones units. So this is 83, so we have 8 popsicle sticks in here so that the kids can put them in and take them out. And then 3 ones, so it's 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we move to our math unit, which is graphing, just like we did before. How many animals. So now we're going to use that same concept, and we are going to use a graph to keep score. for the math assignment. And the game that we're going to play involves addition and subtraction, and for older grades or the last part of the year it can be flipped over for multiplication or division. They take 2 dice and they roll them, and they put the bigger one in front of the sign, and so this one's 5 plus 1, which is 6, and then they use the manipulatives to form their problems so that they can count them. They can also put manipulatives both here to represent this number and here while they're still learning the basic addition and subtraction, so that they can have a self-correcting method. The other thing that we cover besides graphing is going to be money, money cents. So we have magnetized coins and their values, and so we can remove one and put them here. We talked both about cents and the dollars worth, and we have kids make change for math class and solve math problems, purchasing candy and how much change you would need to give the cashier and how much change the cashier would give back. And so that just helps with an overview of that. Another method of classification is for the 5th grade, which is a higher level. First, we're going to discuss the safety features that we need in the science lab to keep everybody safe, because it's really important. And then we're going to go through the process of the experiment, which is up on the board in both with words and pictures to help the students understand the process. And there's also a warning up there that I don't want the students to test liquids with the conductibility test. We also have vocabulary, which integrates science and language arts in the building of vocabulary, and we can do this one of 2 ways. We can remove either the word or the definition and have the students match them back up to the correct spot. And then if there's extra time, or we have end of time at the end of class, we're going to discuss what physical properties they see in this picture that that we have used already. For example, this boat in here is buoyant, and there's several other features for that, so the kids can kind of like an I Spy game to see what they can see and what properties it demonstrates. For this project, we're going to have a lab sheet. We're going to have predictions so that the students can predict what will happen with each one of them, kind of like a beforehand grasp of what they know about these properties. And then after, we have the other side for them to record their data on so that they can share with the class. First thing we can test this wire, and we can weigh it and write down that observation. Then we take a magnet and see if it's magnetic, and it sticks to the bottom, so it must be magnetic. Then we take the object and we bridge the gap, and kids can come see this if they want. And we make the light bulb light by bridging the gap and completing the circuit. Then we test to see if it's buoyant, which it's not because it sinks to the bottom. And then the last test is the solubility test to see whether the property dissolves in water or whether you can still identify the 2 different properties. And here you can see obviously the copper wire and the water, so it is not soluble. So those are the lessons for the interactive science and math units in Thank you for joining me.